sorry that I've been talking non-stop since 3 o'clock.
Well, get ready to talk some more because we're live!
We're live?
Episode 11 of Bump That.
Welcome to Bump That, episode
Welcome
11.
to Bump That. We got fun and games.
Featuring your host, Ileana, Katie, and Brian.
Wow, what amazing names. Such cool names for such cool people. All right. We are on episode 11. Skippy?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing
okay?
good.
Yeah,
Doing good.
I'm better now that I've had supper.
Yeah, those little pizza rolls. I had spaghetti for dinner.
Man. No, okay.
So I made soup.
Yum.
Soup.
I don't like soup.
Aww. That's okay. Wesley ate...
Soup is girls' food.
Oh, that's
dang
sexist. That's sexist. Wesley
How
ate
is that sexist?
Comment. Everybody's clicking off now.
Bye, everyone.
My girls love soup. Joanna loves soup. They eat a ton of it, but soup just like might as well be water to me. I just can't.
Everybody's clicking off now. Soup. Brian thinks soup's for women.
Yeah, I'm going to throw Wesley under the bus a little bit here because I was looking forward to my supper today. I've really been trying to eat healthy, especially since I'm eating these desserts once a week. I've been trying to eat healthy and exercise, and I was really looking forward to my brown rice, salmon sushi, and I come home and it is no longer in the refrigerator. I said, who ate my sushi? And he's like, I did. Like,
and you're like, my gosh darn sushi!
For real though. And that's right after this morning. I told him, all right, I'm not cooking, but there's plenty of leftovers for you to choose from. What does he do? He digs right in.
I would have too. Nice sushi. Except I'm not a fan of brown rice, so maybe I would have not touched it.
It's all right, man.
But anyways,
yeah, save it for me.
Just exercise on your ring fit. We
need to talk about the ring fit sometime because that is a serious little gadget.
I was just watching Hunter play, and I'm like, that actually looks like a legitimate workout. Like,
wait, everybody, who is Hunter?
For some people who don't know.
Cue the audience. For the people
who don't know, I do have a boyfriend. His name is Hunter. Wow,
yeah,
amazing.
I just met him a little bit before the show. Nice kid.
He heard me burp like a man right before the show.
That's okay. Sorry. That's all right.
Sorry about that. Yeah, for you, dang. Embarrassing.
Let's get to the news.
All right, what is it in the news?
Bowser's Fury is coming out on Friday. I am looking forward to it. I have it on my calendar at work, and I'm very, very excited.
I am excited as well. It looks really, really good. I actually had a student yesterday. He made me super happy because he was excited for it. He said that he's been working hard, doing his chores, saving up that money so he can get it on day one.
Wow.
But
it's worth it though.
Yeah, but poor guy, he only has $30, and I said, keep working at it, man.
Yeah, you'll get there. What people aren't looking forward to is, unfortunately, with Animal Crossing coming out with a new event, people are like starting to be like, what gives? Where's all of the updates that they've been looking forward to, and we just get like Pave, a new event with like a few extra little like gadgets to have around your house. People want like more access to the game that like with the like New Leaf or the past Animal Crossing games, there was more to offer, and people are a little bit disappointed that it's not being carried out into New Horizons. So
I'm a little disappointed that if they're gonna do Carnival stuff, which I don't really care about, honestly, I went on yesterday and today, and the items that they had were lame. Super lame.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's what some people are saying, that they're like, what gives? Pocket Camp is the phone game, and they're like, there's so much more amazing things on that game instead. Why is like their official game like lame?
Yeah, so that's a little disappointing for me. I'm still enjoying the game, but it would be nice to get more content, like more. I think now would be a great time for Nintendo to introduce things where it would connect the community a little bit more.
Right.
Where you would want to actually go to other people's islands more and visit. And actually, Brian, I need to go visit Joanna's island. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know.
She's done a lot of work on her island.
I believe it, but I haven't
That's what
seen
she does
it yet,
in the
man.
evening.
Yeah.
It's a great game to just
My
chill
sweet
to.
wife.
I know.
The sweetest.
That's how she breaks down. That's how she cuts down in the evening, man.
It's a good way.
awesome.
And I wish, there was more of an incentive for players to keep coming back to play the game, because it seems like people, they have an event, people play it for maybe a week or two and then get bored with it. And
Dang, a week or two? They've got a problem if it's just a week or two.
so, they just get upset. They're like, okay, there's nothing else to do. And the other games, there were like quests that the characters gave you. Like, I don't know, there's just more interaction with the game. And this one, they're like, oh, this is so lackluster. So that's the issue with Animal Crossing. An issue with the PS5 is that there's a shortage. Katie, can you give us some more info on that?
Sure can. So, as everyone knows, the PS5 came out last year, along with the Xbox. You know what? I can't even come. I don't even know the new.
Is it the
Xbox's
Xbox
name.
X?
You can tell me what it is, and I'll just agree with you because I don't know what letters we're on. But anyway, yes, and what's first of all, the first thing that was happening is that people were buying up PS5s as soon as they became available, and they're selling them for higher prices, and now they're just not available. So the problem is being made worse because parts are just hard to come by. It was actually the same thing for the Nintendo Switch. I think the Nintendo Switch NVIDIA parts were coming from something like Singapore or something like that, Taiwan. And they weren't able to make as many Switches in the beginning because they're flying off the shelf and they weren't able to get these parts, these chips. And so that chip market is still a problem. Let's see, this is coming to us from PlayStation Lifestyle. Will Bright, the co-founder and chief product officer of Peripheral Manufacturing Drop, says there is a chip stockpiling arms race. And that's not just for PlayStation, but also for Xbox. And so we're seeing this problem reoccur for years.
Yeah, it's like they're
years.
just not producing enough, or I don't know. What's going on?
They're not able to produce enough because, I don't know, the reason is COVID, because everything is COVID.
Yeah.
And so because of COVID, they're not able to do it. So who knows when, I saw, I think it was last week, that PlayStations are going to be available at Target. Yay, that's great. But maybe not, because now they're having to wait on these chips to be manufactured, these microchips to be manufactured, and there's a holdup. So I think that is bad. Obviously that's terrible news for Sony. It's terrible news for Microsoft. I don't want to see either company fail. It's always good to have, a competitor. It's good to compete because then people want to make good products.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, wow, PlayStation and Xbox, you guys are off to a rocky start. You can tell me that their sales numbers have been great until you're blue in the face, but when you look long term, I think we're really gonna see PlayStation and Sony and Microsoft really suffering from these shortages.
Well, even Cyberpunk gave that indication with how bad the loading time was, how bad the graphics turned out. And this is supposed to be like a really, really nice like future console. Like this is going to be what the future is like for gaming. And for some reason, like Cyberpunk just failed miserably. Unless you have a PC. If you had a PC and played the game, you saw no problems.
I heard today. I don't know. This I wasn't really paying attention when I was listening to it, but I heard an article today by RGT85. He was saying that CD Projekt Red, the people that made Cyberpunk, were hacked today by somebody within their company, and left a pretty nasty message. But I can't remember what it was or what it was about. But it's like, man, you guys are crumbling from the inside out, man. You got to get that together. So,
yeah.
I don't know, but that's why I've always believed in Nintendo's philosophy, is that you don't have to have the greatest graphics. You don't have to have 4K. I do like 60 FPS, but you don't have to have the slickest looking rock. You know, the most dope looking water. If you put out a fun game that runs well, people will buy it, and it'll stand the test of time. If you look at Mario Galaxy, that game is a fun game.
Yeah.
And that came out in 2007, I believe. 2006. That is a fun game, and it's very cartoony.
Yeah.
But people still play it. If you want to go further back, man, people still play Super Mario World. Just a 2D platformer, and people play that until they're blue in the face. Everybody's gonna be blue in the face today. So, I don't know. I think PlayStation and Microsoft have a lot of thinking to do when it comes to not just how they manufacture things, but what exactly are they trying to accomplish.
Well, hopefully they can figure out what they're trying to accomplish by E3, which is being planned to be completely digital in 2021. So that'll be interesting to see that come to light.
Who's gonna come? I remember last year Sony didn't go to E3.
Nintendo didn't go to E3 either. So who knows?
Is E3 like? Is E3 done? I mean, it's digital.
They canceled E3 last year, I thought.
Yeah, but even Sony before that, they still were not going to show up.
They still did a virtual thing. It was smaller, but they still had some virtual, things to show off. But Nintendo and Sony were not a part of it. So that's kind of interesting. What will be like the future for it because of COVID? I don't even know, like, if I can have COVID be spoken. Should I bleep that in the processing afterwards? So. Who knows what it'll be like for the companies who wants to show up and like post their stuff on E3 and showcase that, because that used to be a really big deal.
It used to be, but now that format of presenting and having that kind of that Steve Jobs-esque presentation, the oohs and the ahs, I think it's.
Is it grown out of style?
I think so. I don't see why they want to keep doing that.
I think so. I think it's good for smaller developers to get their name and game out there. And if
absolutely.
And if not their name and game, then maybe share ideas and get ideas. I think it's a good thing. I know that a lot of people have been saying for a long time, "Oh, E3's dead." No, E3's not dead. At least I hope not. And if it's online, that's fine. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, people will still go to it and, still watch online. It was kind of like the award ceremony that we had, the Game Awards, back in, was that December, Awards. November? People still, tuned in and watched online. So I couldn't see why people wouldn't do the same thing for E3. It would be the same idea.
And, we'll all just be disappointed together that we're not getting Bayonetta 3. So, not yet. Actually, that has been teased a lot. Hideki Kamika. I think that is his name. My apologies if that's wrong. Hideki Kamika is the person that is in charge of Bayonetta 3, and he's been trolling everybody saying, "Oh, it'll come when it comes, but it's, don't expect anything. Just let it happen. And
Just let it
so
happen.
just let it happen, man. Just don't even think about it. And I'm like, that's all I think about. Bayonetta 3. That's all I think about. So I'm hoping that fingers crossed. I doubt it. I think that Nintendo is going to maybe have their first Nintendo Direct since 2019, I think.
Yeah, it's been a long time since they've
I
had
think
one. They've done minis and partnerships.
Yeah, and I think their big Nintendo Direct was way back in 2019. And so I'm hoping that, for E3s, if they don't participate, that they do something, because all us Nintendo freaks are just chomping, waiting, gleaning for something.
So dramatic.
You're gonna get
Sweating.
Splatoon 3 or something
Hey,
like that.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be awesome.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
I'm all for I am all for Splatoon 3. Let's do it. Let's do it. Or even a Mario Kart 9. I don't think they would do a Mario Kart 9 right now. Maybe towards the end of the Switch's life, but man, I'd be all for a Mario Kart 9.
Well,
but anyway,
that concludes the news. Brian, you wanted to do a little tribute to some of our celebrities who have sadly passed within the last year.
This is where we play the Enya music.
Yep, there it is.
Anyways, yeah, this is as we close, 2020 has been closed out. We're coming into 2021. Just wanted to have a little in memoriam session, especially like last week. I felt like every day, one of our elderly statesmen, artists, either actors or directors, every day it seemed like last week somebody was dying. I was like, what the heck, man? All these people, I know, it makes you feel old, seeing that these people that you grew up with passing. So kind of just wanted to briefly go over a few of the big ones from 2020 and a few from the last few months too. Christopher Plummer, one of the great actors of like the past 50 years. Okay, Colonel Von Trapp from The Sound of Music.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was sad.
I mean, if you've seen any movies in like the past 20 years, you've seen Christopher Plummer in there. Here's just a few of his films that he was in, the big ones. He was in A Beautiful Mind, Malcolm X, The New World, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Knives Out. He won an Oscar for a movie called Beginners. Christopher Plummer was one of those guys that he could have been your grandpa. He was a great actor. Next is Hal Holbrook. Not as well known as Chris Plummer, but he was an Academy Award nominated actor. He was a guy that, if you saw some films that he was in Spielberg's Lincoln that came out recently, Men of Honor, Wall Street, The Firm, the animated Hercules. I don't know who he voiced in there. Let's see. Cicely Tyson. Do you guys know who that is?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Cicely Tyson was a lovely, groundbreaking African-American actress who made some of the best films.
Was she the woman who was in The Help?
She was. And
yes,
that is one of the most heartbreaking scenes. Yeah. Watching that little old lady in a ridiculous maid outfit having to work. I mean, that's, to me, when I watched that, that's like the one scene I remember is her having to, serve these, ridiculous white people in her stupid maid outfit, So even at that age, she was still, being a groundbreaker.
Yeah, she was still killing
amazing performances. Yeah.
She was a no-nonsense person. I don't know if you are familiar with Miles Davis, but he was a very hard person, like very tough skinned, and
Yeah, yeah.
she would not take anything from Miles Davis, but they were good friends.
Oh.
And
Really? Cool.
yeah, and I heard one time that she even hung up on Obama on the
Oh
phone.
wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
She's serving
Check,
it.
dude. She's a powerful lady. Don't
Yeah.
mess with Cicely Tyson. Okay, Mama Flora's Family. That's a movie that I remember that she was
Oh
in when
yeah,
she
yeah,
played
yeah.
this matriarch of an African American family. That's a
Damn it,
powerful
that's a
go.
She was
That's
also
an
in
oldie but a goodie. Okay, check that out.
yeah.
Mama Flora's Family.
she
Okay.
was in War Room too, was she not?
No, that's a
Mm,
different little old black lady.
Oh, I can't remember.
That's not. That's not that.
I definitely thought it was her.
Okay, next is Cloris Leachman, who to me is one of the funniest actors. Period. Every time you see Cloris Leachman, she's hilarious. The most I remember her from is that show Raising Hope. Did you guys ever check that out?
Mm-mm.
I've heard the name. I don't really watch shows like that though.
Okay, so it was this funny sitcom that came out in the 2010s. She
Mhm.
was in it. She played a Mima, and she was hilarious. Every scene that lady was in.
She
But wait,
was
check
in
check
Young
out the comedies.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, check out the comedies. This Young Frankenstein, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Malcolm in the Middle, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. She voiced characters for Studio Ghibli, Castle in the Sky.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, Cloris Leachman is awesome. She is both a TV and a film legend.
Should put
She
a
is gonna be missed.
horse sound clip in here for her in honor of
She is
Fabruha.
Fabucha. Who needs a
next
sound
is
clip?
next is Brian Dennehy. He was a big character actor. When I think of Brian Dennehy, I think of Tommy Boy. He was Chris Farley's dad in that movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Other films he was in, First Blood. He went against Sly Stallone in that. Silverado, Cocoon, Presumed Innocent, the Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. And he was also he was a very famous theater actor too. Death of a Salesman. He destroyed that role. It was awesome.
Some of the like people that died last year, who affected me was like Kobe Bryant, Alex Trebek, Chadwick Boseman, and Sean Connery. Those are the names that really stuck out to me of people who passed. I was like, wow, just
Chadwick was like, I mean, there's so many shockers, but Chadwick to me,
mhm.
it was unbelievable. Especially after he had a good year of movies. He
Yeah.
did two really big movies this year, and Wakanda Forever, man.
Yeah.
And it was literally like this time last year that we heard about Kobe dying,
Right.
and his daughter, which
That's
is
just the saddest thing.
unbelievably tragic. Unbelievable. It's just such a loss. Other people that died, Fred Willard. I remember for you Pixar fans, he played the corporate dude in WALL-E. He was the live action guy in that.
Oh, okay.
May I interject? May I interject? And this may be
Yeah.
distasteful. This may be a little untasteful. But a couple weeks ago at trivia, I do trivia on Wednesday nights. That was the answer to a question where the question was which Pixar movie was the first to have a live action actor in it.
Yeah,
And
that's the only one.
Yeah, I immediately saw his face and I was like, oh man, yeah, I got that. So that is sad.
Yeah.
That is a
Again.
even just that little bit of history is a legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another one of those comedy legends that just TV movies he was in. Max von Sydow was a very famous Swedish actor. If you've seen any sci-fi movies in the past 20 years, you've seen him in. He was in the first little bit of Force Awakens. He played the old guy there with that gives the new clue to find Luke Skywalker. He was in The Exorcist, Flash Gordon, Minority Report, Shutter Island. Max von Sydow is one of the great actors.
Yeah, what a...
Diana Rigg. A lot of people recently remember her in Game of Thrones as the little old lady who schemed her way and, spoiler, poisoned Joffrey and all that.
Is it weird that I remember her from The Great Muppet Caper?
You and the Muppets.
Sorry.
She's also a Bond girl. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
Kelly Preston, she was John Travolta's wife. She was also an actress. Again, I mean, she was 57, died super young.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's super sad. She had a really good film career too. Did you guys see Slumdog Millionaire?
Yeah.
Katie did. I haven't seen it.
That's
You've never seen Slumdog Millionaire? Oh my god.
That's a great movie.
Okay, so if you remember in Slumdog Millionaire, the sheriff or the cop that arrests Dev Patel and is having him electrocuted, and he's questioning him about his life and all that. That actor's name is Irfan Khan. He's a very famous actor in Indian cinema. And then also, too, he was in that Jurassic World movie. He was the really rich billionaire that set up,
yeah.
who finally got the park up and running.
Mm-hmm.
So that actor, Irfan Khan, passed away. Did more than that. If you ever saw Life of Pi, he was also the storyteller in that.
I did see Life of Pi. That was a good one. That's
a fantastic movie. Terry Jones, one of the Monty Python crew, he passed away as well. He was the "How do you know so much about swallows?" That guy.
Oh, really?
Passed away. Yeah.
Oh,
no. Okay, this one's so sad. This guy went into the West. Our very own Bilbo Baggins, Ian Holm, passed away in 2020.
Oh.
Again, a movie legend. We were talking about Aliens. He was in the original Alien. Such a great role in that. Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit trilogy, just so good. Just one of the great, again, like British actors. It's only so long before we lose guys like Ben Kingsley, Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart.
No, quit it.
I know, it's happening.
Quit
it's gonna happen.
You're gonna. I'm gonna.
All right, Kirk Douglas was another Hollywood legend, a guy that made it all the way up to over 100. He was in big films like Paths of Glory, Spartacus, just another one of the great actors. And then the last of like classic Hollywood cinema, Olivia de Havilland. You might remember her. She was ancient. She was in Gone with the Freaking Wind.
Oh my gosh, what is that,
okay.
1934?
1939.
Gosh.
1939. Okay, and she must have been like 25 when she filmed.
Wow, okay, yeah, ancient, that's it.
But, another Academy Award-winning actress, one of the, all-time classic cinema heroines. That's the,
and that's making me think, Betty White is 99 as of this year.
I know, it could happen anytime. We're just going to get the news, and it's going to be bad.
Quit jinxing it. You're jinxing it, man.
I can't help it. It's going to happen. I'm telling you. I was telling Joanna, listen, there's three guys. When Harrison Ford,
no,
Steven Spielberg, don't say the name.
Martin Scorsese, when they go,
Morgan
I'm done.
Freeman.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the day Morgan Freeman dies?
When Spielberg, Scorsese, and Harrison Ford go, don't talk to me. I'm gone.
Speaking of Harrison Ford, Brian. Speaking of Harrison Ford, have you seen? Oh my gosh, not into the Wild. Dadgummit.
Call of the Wild.
Call of the Wild. Jeez.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Awesome.
Oh man.
Yeah, so good.
I feel awful that movie did not do better. It came out at the worst time.
Well, not only that, the trailer made it look really bad. You guys are saying it's good, and I'm honestly surprised that you're saying it's good because of that trailer.
Awesome.
It looked terrible.
No, and it didn't do as bad. It came out in February, which is kind of a time for movies to come back in the day when movies came out in theaters. But we took the whole family to see it. The kids loved it. Joanna loved it. I loved it.
Is it a bring your mom, show it to your mom type of movie?
Heck yes.
Went with mom. I went with mom.
100%. Yes.
All right.
Listen, anything Harrison Ford is in right now, go see it. Because the time is limited with Harrison Ford. He's going to be done. No, you gotta think like this, because it's...
Oh my god, calm down. But
there were no more Harrison Ford.
He's right.
You forgot to mention Mel Brooks. When Mel goes away.
When Mel Brooks.
Oh, God.
Mel.
See, he doesn't do too much now. I mean, I love Mel Brooks. And he goes...
Excuse me. Does that erase his legacy? Excuse me.
He's not active.
So
basically, he's saying he's irrelevant right now.
Oh my god, he's still like.
I'm not saying that. Listen, Spielberg, Scorsese, Harrison Ford are still cranking out films. Okay, so not that like hit them first. I love Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks is awesome, but he's not as productive in putting out films or TV, anything like that. So.
Oh my gosh.
And at the end of the day, for me personally, Harrison Ford is, like he's my cinema father. You know? Seriously, the kid raised me. The guy raised me. Okay. Spielberg and Scorsese, they are my professors who I've never met. I've never met them, but those guys have taught me so much more than being in public school have, literally, about life and death and love and religion, that when those guys go, it will be a piece of me gone, because those guys are my heroes.
You know who taught me about life and death?
Okay.
Mufasa.
Oh my gosh.
And with that, I'm going to move us into Katie's dessert corner.
What's the dessert?
I don't know if I should be eating anything sweet now that we've been talking about people dying, and like
it's been so emotional.
I don't know if I have the energy to eat anything so sweet and sugary. I just don't know.
Sugary and delicious.
Well, today's dessert is brought to you by Sugartopia from Cornelia. It is a bakery in Cornelia. Go check them out if you're in Georgia and you just have a sweet tooth in the Northeast region. Today I have a sour cream pound cake.
Oh my gosh!
I have to admit that I actually did not purchase this. This is it's leftovers from this weekend. We've been working on the floor, and Wesley's parents came to help us out. And they brought us this pound cake. And
Yum.
We decided to load this bad boy up with some strawberries, raspberries, and a little dollop of whipped cream. Whipped cream?
I'm about to turn into Timmy Tantrum.
Christopher Robin, can I have some whipped cream, please?
All right, well, take a bite out of it, dang it.
Anyways, so, The top is a little crunchy. It has a nice little crunch. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But the actual bready part of it is very moist and thick.
Oh, I love pound cake.
I thought girls don't like that word.
Thick?
Depends on the context.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you're talking about, like, you got some thick thighs or a thick butt.
No, like moist. Like, most women that I've talked to, when you bring up that word, if that word happens to just fall into conversation...
Usually if it's, like, talking about
your
cake,
generation freaks out. Like,
if you're, like, talking about cake, it's acceptable. If you're, like, it's moist outside, that's like, ew, why you guys say it like that? That's nasty.
Or ew, why is your skin so moist?
Ew.
Then, yeah, that's different.
You need a towel, bro.
But this cake is dope. So once again, that is Sugartopia in Cornelia. Eat local, everyone.
Okay, wow. Brian, what's your stream pick of the week?
So on Netflix, just scanning through something to watch, happened upon this documentary from 2019 called "The Devil And pretty much, it's not a supernatural horror documentary, anything like that. But it's about the story of this man named John Demjanjuk, um, who was what is he? Well, pretty much, John Demjanjuk was accused of by the nation of Israel as being Ivan the Terrible, who was back during the World War II a Nazi war criminal. Pretty much at one of the war camps there, he was responsible for taking the Jews and putting them into gas chambers. And so he would do horrible, terrible, torturous things to the Jews during the Holocaust. And so this guy, at the end of World War II, finds a way to immigrate to the United States, to Cleveland, Ohio, where he changes his name and lives as an auto worker at Ford in Cleveland. Gets married, wife and kids. Neighbors have no idea that supposedly this guy was Ivan the Terrible, horrible, sick freak of a war criminal. And so the documentary just explores kind of what happened when this guy gets found out, and he gets sent over to Israel and gets tried by an Israeli tribune of his war crimes. It's fascinating. There's actually a lot of twists and turns. The story isn't as so black and white as it is, but definitely very fascinating. And of course, lately in our society, there's a lot of people that tend to believe that the Holocaust never existed, and that is sick, and we should never, ever...
Second that, bro.
Yep.
You know, honestly, if you ever say that the Holocaust is fake and propaganda, you're garbage. You're human garbage.
Amen to that.
That is true thing, and we should teach our children about the Holocaust so that those things will never, ever happen again.
Bro, when I was in 5th grade, I was homeschooled, and Mom was making me read out of the history book, and we were talking about the Holocaust, and I was reading, and I was getting choked up as I was reading.
Yeah, it's sick and disgusting to hear what happened.
You know what? That means you're a human person, that you have empathy and feelings. Because, you know, one day eventually I'll teach my kids about the horrible things that happened, and that we should never... It's a crime against all of us, for humanity, that was allowed to happen, and it should never ever happen again.
If you listening are a reader, go read The Diary of Anne Frank. Man, you want a profound book to read, written by a young girl. Like, she died when she was 15, so she had to be writing that diary from when she was about 13 to 15, or maybe even 14. And I read it when I was young, when I was a teenager as well, and it was like, even her writing style is... Just go read it. Just go read the book. Do yourself a favor and go sit and read that book.
Educate yourself about the Holocaust. Go see... That's my streaming pick, The Devil Next Door. It'll remind you about the horrors and let justice be done. Help us to remember. So, Ileana, what's your Japanimation pick of the week?
Okay, so recently we just had a snowstorm here in Gainesville, and it was really nice to play.
Snowstorm?
It snowed a lot here in Braselton, and I got to enjoy it, so that was nice. Like 1.5 inches is my snowstorm. But it made me get back on thinking on an anime that was like snowy, very cold, like winter time, and it's called Canon 2006.
Whoa!
Throwback anime, very old. It's like in the style of like the Bug-Eyed Girls and stuff. But I love watching that anime during this time of year because it is like snowy and cold, and it just brings me back to like, old nostalgia of watching anime in that style. So the show came out in 2006, and it features the story of a boy who is trying to regain some memories. So he goes back to his old town and is like meeting all the girls who he spent his childhood with, and is starting to get like a lot of all these memories coming back. And who are these people? Who am I? Kind of thing. So it's a really interesting anime. Once again, I like it just because of the snowy aspect. So definitely give that a check if you like mystery and you know, cold, wintry anime.
That is a really good anime. We used to watch that when we were younger.
Yeah.
In 2006.
Yeah. So now we're gonna get to, I guess, the meat and potatoes.
Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about WandaVision. If you haven't seen it, streaming on Disney Plus. Since literally, oh my gosh, since Endgame, I think it's the first like MCU content to come out. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
There's been Homecoming. What? No, Far From Home. Spider-Man, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Far From Home. Yeah. Which I always felt was kind of like the epilogue to Endgame.
Yeah.
So that's right. Yeah. So but since then, that was last year. We haven't had very much MCU content.
Right.
Marvel. But WandaVision. It's a really interesting show. It's pretty much an homage to the classic television genres that we used to watch from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Right now, there's 5 episodes out. It's a solid show. It's kind of a mystery. When the show first opens up, it literally is like a recreation of an I Love Lucy with
I
Wanda.
love that about it.
Yeah, it's so. If you've never seen I Love Lucy or shows like Bewitched, classic television that I used to watch as a kid in the summertime, just reruns when there's nothing to do. It was so fun to just kind of go back to that. Or watching we used to watch I Love Lucy.
We watched so much I Love Lucy growing up.
Do you remember us watching Zorro?
Oh yeah, Disney Vault. Yeah, on Disney Channel, they'd open up the vault.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and Bewitched. I Dream of Jeannie. Yeah.
Yeah, Bewitched, yeah. So especially the first couple episodes of WandaVision are definitely an homage to that. Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, is using her powers to kind of deal with being a homemaker in a 1950s home. Vision is there, and if you remember in Infinity War, for those that saw it, Ileana, have you seen Infinity War?
I have now seen Infinity War, so I know what goes on.
Okay.
We're good.
All right, so Infinity War, Vision gets killed by
Thanos. He gets that gem sucked out of his forehead.
Did you guys hear about Ted Cruz messing up Thanos' name and getting just raked over the coals?
No way.
Yeah. Anyways. That's politics. We'll talk about that. Anyways, Vision gets killed, but here he is returned in WandaVision. So, Ileana, you've seen a couple episodes. What are your observations? What are you like?
I really enjoy the show. I think it's funny. It's cute. However, with every episode, there is something bizarre that is going on, and you have no idea what it is. And it's very short. Like, the climax of the story is happening, and then it like changes like mood and then goes back. But you can obviously tell that like Wanda is aware of whatever is going on, that there's this shift. And I've only seen to episode 2, so I don't exactly know what's going on quite yet. I read a spoiler for episode 5 just so I can know what's going on. But even so, I still don't know like the whole what is happening. That one little shift and like taste of like mood change is very like jarring.
It's a pretty neat show. It's cool because the girls actually started watching it with me. They watched like the black and white episodes, and they were like, "Oh, this is really neat." And it was kind of even if it was just a standalone show, they were really into it. Just kind of the physical comedy of watching like an I Love Lucy or a
Yeah,
Bewitched, where there's a lot
the
of
mom from that '70s show was the wife, the boss's wife in the first episode.
yeah.
Loved
I
that.
mean, if you love television sitcoms and that kind of goofy humor, just the timing that that kind of
Mhm.
TV comedy has, you're gonna love the show. But then the show is also just a little chunk of like the wider MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So as we get closer to more Marvel content, movies coming back out, and more TV shows, this is kind of, I think, the beginning. It's like the little, uh, you know, the it's the start of something new
Yeah,
for the
and it's
MCU.
funny that whenever I first was talking about it and how critics were looking at it, they were like, oh, it's just a sitcom show. Where does MCU fall into this? They're using the characters,
No,
but
no,
why is
it's
it not
not just a
like
sitcom.
right? And that's where I'm starting to see now was every all the fans who I guess just saw the first two episodes like I had, who were just like, oh, this is just a sitcom. But then, you watch episode 2 and you're like, this is not just a sitcom. Like where is this going? Um
I haven't seen the show yet, but I thought that would be pretty obvious that it's not just a sitcom. Obviously, they're not going to
Yeah,
make
you would
it
think
the
so. And
yeah.
it's kind of like, come on, wake up. This isn't, there's obviously more to the story. This is Marvel. Do you
especially
think Marvel is just going to do something on that level?
Right, right.
Just
I guess fans
surface?
were just like,
They're
"Oh, what
never.
the heck am I watching black and white TV?" You know.
no, especially if you have a character like Vision, and you have even a character like oh my gosh, his name just is Doctor Strange. You have a just knowing that he's present in the MCU, that should trigger something that,
Well,
maybe
even if
something
like
is
you
not.
had
Good,
seen
good
Infinity
point.
War, you would know that, Vision died. So if it was canonical to the MCU, you'd be going, "Wait a second, he's alive. What is going on here?"
Yeah, so if you have any knowledge of the MCU, you should know that things are not what they seem. So I think that's a little naive, no
Yeah.
offense, but I think that's a little naive for people to be like, is this a
What
sitcom?
was
No.
was there anything, Brian? Are you caught up?
I am caught up through the first 5 episodes. Next
Okay.
episode, episode 6, will come out Friday. Just
Okay,
saying.
so was there anything that like you didn't like about the show? We talked about things that were interesting and cool, but was there something that you're like, not really interested in this?
You know what? The show is solid. It's not as gripping as a movie.
Mhm.
So I was able to watch it and like do chores around the house, and pause it. So it wasn't like, oh my god, I gotta find out what happens. Maybe we're not up to that point yet. We're still
Yeah.
only 5 episodes in. As you get further, more and more of the mystery, the fog, is starting to kind of, you're starting to kind of unravel that.
Mhm.
So maybe by we get to 6, 7, 8, it'll be like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? But I mean, I gotta say though, the performances, especially from the two leads, from Paul Bettany as Vision, Elizabeth Olsen as
Mhm.
Wanda, so good. They
It's
nail
really good.
it. They nail every theme and quirk from that era of television, and it's
Yeah.
so good that I just loved it.
Like,
They
"Oh
they nail
dear,
it.
you forgot your hat. What would I do without you, honey?" And then laugh track.
Oh,
Why
and
is
it's
that's
done
being
so
Wesley?
well. But
That's
it's done so well. It's not corny. Their chemistry is fantastic.
Mhm.
And they're doing it. What's really cool too, especially in those sequences, they're doing that in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah.
So it does have a theatrical feel, which totally adds to the whole ensemble. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it really is. With only 5 episodes left, where do you think it's going to go from here? And like how do you think the MCU is like going to fit in more to it since you've seen more of the show than Katie and I have?
Just wait. You guys got to get into it if you have get caught up. Especially because it keeps going through the eras of television. So the I Love Lucy, the Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie. So you'll get into the 70s TV shows, lots of color. That's when color comes in and all that. Then the 80s sitcoms that we all grew up and loved. And then it's just, there's a lot more.
90s sitcoms, come on, let those be next. 90s.
I can't wait. It's every episode is a treat. Yeah.
I was thinking Family Matters too, exactly. Family Matters and Full House.
It's a rare condition this day and age.
This day and age.
You know, that same guy did just throwing this out there, that same guy, and I guess his band, did the same, or did the music for Full House, Step by Step, Family Matters, and there was one other one.
TGIF,
like the same
man.
Guy. The same guy did all those intros. I was like, no, okay, all right. Couldn't think of anyone else then, huh?
See, Ileana wasn't alive during like the quality of TGIF. Oh my gosh, and it was just like.
See, but like I watched the reruns growing up. So like, you know, The Nanny and Family Matters, Full House. I watched all of that growing up. So
everyone else is wearing tan.
Yeah, The Nanny was one of my favorites.
So I think, and what I've heard is as the show progresses, they'll get to kind of the different eras. So by the time they get to 2000s, it might be like the documentary style TV shows, like The Office, Modern Family, those kind where there's a documentary crew. So we'll see how that, turns out.
It would be really interesting to see how this plays out.
What kind of comedies are there now? What are they?
There's like How I Met Your Mother.
That's 2000s, 2010s.
Or what is the science one? Big Bang Theory.
That's still 2010s too.
Modern Family.
What are people watching?
You would probably have to look at what's popular on Netflix and streaming channels.
There's like Schitt's Creek or something.
It's the era of the shaky cam. It's still a shaky cam.
Yeah, that's right. That's the 2010s and 2000s. Office came out in 2004.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's mockumentary, but it's shaky cam.
Yeah,
it's still shaky cam.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. How they do that for WandaVision, if they do that at all.
So get caught up. We'll come back and we'll rehash the show when it's all said and done. I think that'll be fun to do in 5 weeks from now when the show's done. And
I am actually very excited to see where it goes because I'm only on episode 2 and there are 5 episodes released as of now. I am looking forward to seeing it. It's a good show. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a good show.
Especially if you did like the shows like the S.H.I.E.L.D., that show, and what was the other Marvel TV show that came out with Captain America's gal? What was that show?
Oh, Agent Carter.
Agent Carter. If you like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, you will dig WandaVision because there's a little bit of that in there too.
This may be a dumb question, but is Daredevil MCU?
It is because they mention like the Battle of New York like every little bit and then, but it's not like 100%.
Okay.
Brian, have you seen Daredevil? I wanted to talk about that. Maybe not today.
We need to talk. We do need to talk about these shows. I've seen the 2 seasons. I've seen 2 seasons of Daredevil and 1 season of Jessica Jones, which I loved. I loved the first season of Jessica Jones. 2 seasons of Daredevil. I just never watched all the other ones, which I heard are awesome.
We need to talk about this soon because I've got a mixed bag of emotions for Daredevil. But maybe for another time. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll say one thing: the fight scenes in Daredevil are exquisite.
They really are. I'll say that. The choreography for those fight sequences are really good, especially since that guy is freaking blindfolded for a lot of it. So, but like I said, that's for another day.
That's another time. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of for another day, next week I think we will be talking about Marvel versus the DC universe. Which one is better? Which one is has better writing, better characters. I don't know. There's a lot to talk about both of them.
Especially since Superman and Lois, I almost said Superman versus Lois. Superman and Lois is coming back. Yeah,
dead immediately.
There's the new Batman movie, more to be talked about with that, with Robert Pattinson.
Bobby Pattinson.
Yeah, I don't even know these people's names, but there's a lot to talk about. So tune in next week.
And then the Justice League comes out. The full Zack Snyder cut is coming out next month,
as well as the Suicide Squad.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And that's I've got some things to say about DC in this aspect, like movie wise. There's some things to be said, but I'll hold off until next week.
I feel like it's going to be a smorgasbord of a week. I'm excited.
I have a question. I'm going to pose this to Brian right now, and maybe he can answer it next week. Wolverine. Who's going to play him next? Who's going to be the next Wolverine? I've got my desires and opinions. I would like to hear yours later.
You'll have to turn into next week to find out.
Tune in next week to hear our opinions on DC and Marvel. And if you liked this video or this podcast episode, leave a like. Leave a comment.
If you stayed this long,
subscribe.
I'll leave you a like.
Yeah, subscribe too. Hit that notification bell so you know whenever a new video, podcast episode has been uploaded.
And check out the minis, the bite-sized mini episodes.
Yes, Katie and I have a new series.
We just put one out talking about... What did we talk about? It was so short. Oh, we were talking about Zelda, that's right.
Yes, Nintendo deciding to pull a Netflix TV show. So if you want to hear our thoughts and opinions on that, go check out the mini episode. We created a playlist for it. So we'll be uploading up little news segments that don't necessarily fit in with these Bump That podcast episodes. Are we gonna call it Bump That Mini or Mini Bumps or who knows?
Mini bumps.
Mini bumps. Go check out our mini bumps. And thank you so much for listening.
Bye.